By fans, for fans, the Hog Style. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Welcome back to the Hogsty, DC's unofficial leading source for all things Redskins and the NFL, now part of Big Heads Media. Washington is now officially eliminated from playoff contention, but there are still some opportunities to play spoiler for our fellow NFC Easters. Starting, of course, with Philadelphia this Sunday at FedEx Field. So don't go away. We'll be right back to talk about that and so much more, right after a word from our sponsors.
Support for the Hogsty comes from Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Ready or not, the holidays are here. Still struggling to come up with the perfect gift for that special someone in your life? The answer is Manscaped. The Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0 is the perfect gift this holiday season. It includes the Lawnmower 2.0 trimmer, the Crop Preserver anti-chafing deodorant, and the Crop Reviver toner spray, which is infused with cooling aloe vera to keep you from sweating, sticking, and smelling. Trust me, she will love the manly scent of these products. It even comes with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs to keep you feeling fresh all day long. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their new Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to prevent nicks and snags, has a rechargeable battery, and it's waterproof so you can use it in the shower. Stop using the same trimmer down below that you use on your face. So what are you waiting for? Head over to manscaped.com now and get 20% off your order and free shipping by using the code BIGHEADS. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Promo code BIGHEADS.
And we're back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Conti, Steve Thomas, Alex Zeese, and Jamal Forrest here with you this evening. Obviously, we've got some Philly stuff to talk about, but my goodness, with all the injuries and the rumblings about Bruce Allen, I don't know where to start with this evening, guys. I know you talked about the injury stuff coming out of last week's game. Maybe we should start with some of the updates around that have come out this week.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a sad start to the show with the injury updates.
That's right.
All right, so fine, injury update. As of Wednesday, Quinton Dunbar and Ryan Kerrigan are the only ones not practicing. They were the only two DNPs. Quinton Dunbar was a hamstring. Kerrigan was the calf. Kerrigan made it very clear that it was not a hamstring, it was a calf. Fabian Moreau was the guy who was in and out of that game. He was limited. He practiced to a certain extent. Morgan Moses and Donald Penn limited. Trey Quinn still in concussion protocol. They have him listed as limited, which means he's in the protocol. Paul Richardson is back to practicing again, so that's good. Brandon Scherf, elbow and shoulder limited. Dwayne Haskins, incidentally, is listed as full practice, full go, despite his ankle injury. Bill Callahan said on Wednesday afternoon at his presser that his ankle injury was very, very minor.
Right.
Which begs the question
didn't
of
look
why
that minor.
Haskins was
Exactly.
limping around. Yeah, no, he didn't.
No.
Adrian Peterson is actually practicing on a Wednesday. Now, here's the first. Full practice for him. On the Eagles side, they have a bunch of DNPs. Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey both didn't practice. Lane Johnson, Mr. Big Mouth himself, didn't practice. Derek Barnett didn't practice. So that's injuries.
Well, you did. I think you kind of glossed over a big one for us, and that was Darius Geis going to IR.
Oh, yeah. Duh. Okay, so roster moves. We'll go over that because we had a bunch of roster
that's why you probably didn't have it's in the roster moves.
I was, they send us an injury chart and then they send us updates, and I had the wrong other chart up. And so the big news was that Darius Geis went to the IR for his sprained left MCL. So they brought up running back Josh Ferguson from the practice squad to take his place. So Josh Ferguson becomes running back 4 on the active roster. Danny Johnson came off a pup. Remember him, cornerback Danny Johnson?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. He's going to be the new guy who pushes Josh Norman to the bench. Because the reason I say that is Simeon Thomas got himself busted for drugs.
Hey, superstar of the week right there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got a 4-game suspension for a drugs of abuse violation, meaning not steroids, meaning he was taking a drug of abuse. And if you get to the 4-game suspension point, Alex told me to spare you the details. So the bottom line is he's failed multiple tests to get to this point. We just didn't know about it. And then there are some oldies but goodies back on the practice squad. Pete Robertson, remember him? And then I swear Derek Gore has been on the practice squad before too.
Sure.
And that is roster moves.
Okay.
So there you go.
So Danny Johnson's
Yes.
kind of here replacing who then? That's what I'm not clear about.
Danny Johnson's replacing Simeon Thomas,
Right, okay.
who is out for drugs. And Jamal, I think I give you credit for this. I saw you post this today or Wednesday, how few games Darius Geis has actually played.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was you,
Yeah,
right?
he
Go
played.
ahead, tell him about that.
2 years, 32 games, and he's played a full 3 games. Technically,
Wow.
he gets credit for 5 because he played in the Philly game and then he played in the Packers game, but 3 full games.
Wow.
Right.
Look, I'm just going to
That's
say,
the issue.
I'm done. I'm done with it, man. I told Alex and Steve, I think it was earlier in this season, if it happened again with him, I was done with it. We can't keep wasting our time with this, have another Josh Doctson situation, whatever. See you, Darius. If you can't stay healthy, you're absolutely no good to us. You can't be a foundational piece if you can't see the field.
And here's the thing with what you just mentioned, because you brought up a good point with Josh Doctson. The transparency is even bigger when it comes to Darius Geis. Like, there was so much mystery behind Josh Doctson's injuries. You never knew if he was really hurt or if he just wasn't able to get on the field. Like, from a coaching standpoint,
Right.
Darius Geis cannot get on the field because he's hurt. He can't stay on the field because he's hurt.
And he's very public about that he wants to be there and that he's hurt.
Yeah. So I'm not done in a sense, but I understand that he's injury prone. Or, I mean, it's no other way to cut it. Like, the nicer word was to say he's unfortunate, but the more blunt term is he's injury prone. Like, there are people who are just prone to injury, and the biggest person that I would say, and this isn't even football related, is more so Greg Odom. Like, he was injury prone. It wasn't the fact that he didn't have talent. He was very talented, but he just couldn't stay on the court. And this is somewhat similar with Darius Geis and his knees.
Yeah, they need to plan to have another running back here next year who they think can stay healthy. Use Geis where you can. I mean, that's kind of, he's on a rookie contract, so it's not costing you a lot to have him be here as a depth option. But yeah, I don't think you can bank on this for 8 years or anything.
Well, remember, they have another running back. I mean,
they do.
Bryce Love,
Who's also hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. But Bryce Love was a stud. He was a superstar at Stanford. Don't forget that.
We'll see what he has.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's one. But it wouldn't surprise me if they drafted another running back. The Redskins draft a lot of running backs anyway.
Well, everyone does. They're disposable.
Yeah, absolutely right. And another thing, when you're looking at the running back position, you already mentioned Bryce Love, and then you got Darius Geis, 2 guys that you really can't count on just yet, and kind of unproven in a sense. Like, you already know what Darius Geis brings, but like, can you really sit here and say? I mean, we've already said it collectively that we can't count on him, but people who are hoping for this guy to come back and actually be a formidable piece of the offense, like, you just can't do it, and you can't do that with Bryce Love either, regardless of what he did in college.
That's right.
Because you're dealing with another guy who had a knee injury.
That's right.
So drafting a guy will make the most sense. You could also bring back Craig Reynolds. I believe he is on. It's been so long. I think he's on IR for us. So he can definitely come back. He played well enough to get another look in preseason and off season. You have options, and like it was mentioned before, like the position is disposable. So you'll have plenty of options, but you cannot utilize Geis the way you really want to right now. But I will say, one thing. But I will say, eventually it will come to a point for Geis, and it happens with most players, where you're like Thomas Davis, for example, the linebacker for Los Angeles Chargers. It comes a point where you do have a long period and where you don't have no more injuries and you're able to stay on the field. So I don't know when it'll come in his career, if it'll be with the Redskins or not, but Geis will have that period where he'll be effective enough that he can stay on the field and be relied upon for whatever team he plays for. and he'll be a threat.
Well, the best example of that is Brian Arakpo. They got
Yeah,
rid of Brian
sure.
Arakpo in no small part because he kept getting injured. It was the same pec. He kept torn it over and over again. And what happened? He leaves. He would have had a great career in Tennessee. Craig Reynolds did get cut. They did an injury settlement with him, I think.
Injury settlement,
Got
okay.
rid of him.
Doesn't
Yeah,
mean
if I
they
recall,
can't bring him
'cause he's
back,
not-
though.
Pardon? Yeah, they could. Yeah. The thing about Darius Geis is he's so charismatic. And he's such a nice guy that the fans love him, so he gets a lot of attention. Because I don't think like your average second-round running back who's always hurt and misses. What'd you say? All but 3 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think the fans would really care one way or another, except that he just has this like infectious personality. He was taking people to go see superhero movies, and he plays video games with random strangers. All that stuff makes him very well liked.
Which a
And
lot
so,
of players do for other teams, but it's just no one does it here. So when someone does, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're the savior of the city.
Right.
Because we've had like a team full of like DJ
Yeah.
Swearingers, and so
Right.
then Darius Geis comes along and he's this great guy, and you're all rooting for him. We're all rooting for him. Don't mistake us. This conversation is we're not rooting for him. We are.
It's an unfortunate
Yeah,
situation, is what it is.
And I think he's got a ton of talent too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't forget, 2 years ago, no less than Ernest Biner sung his praises on our
Yeah.
airwaves. Unprompted by us before he was drafted by the Redskins. We brought Ernest on
Yeah.
to talk about running backs because we knew we needed one, and Ernest was like, talking
Yeah,
about
the
great plays,
talent's
so-
undeniable.
Yeah, he said Geis and Bo Scarborough were his guys.
The talent's undeniable, but talent and health exist kind of separately, and you need them both. So
They do.
I mean, that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
Anything else about Geis before we talk about the other injury that happened last week? That was kind of a big one.
No, I mean it was actually good that it's only sprained. It's not
Yeah,
a torn
true.
ACL.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's-
Yeah, he's actually. It sounds like if they were playing for something, he could have come back
Yeah.
by the Cowboys game. But
Why would
since
you
we're not
bother?
playing for anything,
Yeah.
shut him down.
Hold on, wait, is that the same knee or is it the other knee that he sprained?
This was
He's-
the left knee this time. I can't remember what knee it was before.
He's damaged both knees extensively already.
It just sounds better and better,
point, yeah,
Alex.
that's
You're really
true.
sweetening this deal for me, my friend.
Right.
Oh my God.
Here we were talking about they need to eventually draft a guy, and we'll get into the draft later. Just stop drafting guys who
I
have
would
ACL
totally
problems.
co-sign that at this point. My God, approved.
Yeah, if I see that in the health report, just
Yeah.
sorry, put him
It's
on
going
the
to be a hard
no
no
pile.
for me, dog. Because here's the thing: even if you take a low-round pick and he doesn't pan out, he's going to contribute more than 3 games in 2 years. So it's opportunity lost by keeping someone like that on the roster. Talk to me about Haskins, guys. Talk to me about how you were feeling this week. I mean, so what's the deal that we're hearing now? It's ankle sprain, is what they're saying. Is the rumor?
Yeah,
But we don't.
ankle sprain.
It was a mild ankle sprain. They're saying he's completely better now, is what they're more or less saying.
Well, wait a minute. He didn't say it was completely better. What Callahan said Wednesday in his presser was that the injury was very, very minor. Haskins was asked about it at his presser conference, or at his presser,
Yeah.
and he said it was nothing and it didn't matter. I mean, it didn't to everybody else on the face of the earth. It looked serious to me, at least it did.
Well,
But
watching him play, it was clearly impacting him.
the fact that he was limping around, he couldn't put weight on his leg, and all of that,
Which
stuff.
affects literally every single facet of the quarterback position. I mean, it really is just strange to see anyone limping around asked to play that position. I mean, it affects your ability to do anything. It's just another bungle, it seems. I mean, is there anything more to say about other than that? Poor handling of an injury?
No, I mean we'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see.
And I hesitate to say it was poor because we really don't know what the doctor said.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a rock in his shoe. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
We've seen in the past, guys have played, like Donovan McNabb played, what was that, 15 years ago with a broken leg,
right.
and he kept playing.
Remember that.
Like guys have played with
forgot about
weird
that.
injuries like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was living in Philly. No one let us forget about that for weeks on end.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about that is, though, it's like you almost couldn't tell he had a broken leg, but when someone's limping around, it's like it doesn't pass the eye test. Sit the dude down. He's in pain, Sit him down. But
Right.
anyways.
Well, it's like especially when he can't, follow through and passes because he can't plant his ankle
Yeah,
properly.
it's like, what do you expect to happen here? Okay, let's talk then about, or anything else about injuries in general, actually, before we move on. Okay, cool.
Yes.
No, I think
Yes,
that
I got
was
one
injuries.
thing.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
I think this may be the end of Ryan Kerrigan. I kind of feel bad because I know I'm biased and everybody, those who listen and you guys know how I feel about Ryan Kerrigan, but it doesn't help that he's had 2 injuries like towards the tail end of this season where it's caused him to miss time and miss games. Like we know he's going to be out this week against Philadelphia, and then he missed the Carolina game. So it's getting to a point where like the question for management, whoever comes in, and for the coach, the question is going to be what are they going to do with Ryan Kerrigan? You had an opportunity to trade him earlier in the year. They passed. And now you're dealing with a person who had 2 injuries. Now, there's no cause for concern given his history. However, the people will consider his age and performance and production whenever that time comes, and that's going to be a legitimate question for them. And personally, in my opinion, because of how I feel about Ryan Kerrigan and the new injuries, I think it may be an end for him. But he's had a hell of a career. Kudos to him.
75% of Redskins Twitter already has Chase Young in a Redskins uniform.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the draft later, but that would be the obvious possible replacement for Ryan Kerrigan if the team chose to go that direction. I think you're probably right, Jamal. I wouldn't swear to it being this year being his last year, but he's certainly coming down to the end. Quite honestly, I mean, I've never thought he was consistent.
Yeah, he's a very uneven player.
I like
very
the guy.
lost.
Yeah, he seems to be very streaky. He goes in streaks. I've never thought he was all that great, sealing the edge on the run. He's more of a pass rusher. So, I mean, he's I always thought of him as like a B to B plus sort of pass rusher in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you all this too, by the way. Which guy would you prefer? Player A or player B? So player A has 13. Both players have 13 sacks. One person, player A, goes between 2 to 3 games without having a sack or even a tackle. And then they get their sacks in bunches. Player B goes no. Now, I'm not doing this actual math, but you get the gist that I'm saying. But player B has no more than 1 game in between sacks. Like, he's always on the stat sheet, but they both get to 13, but one person never goes more than 1 game without a sack. Which guy are you taking?
I mean, the first person is obviously Kerrigan. I don't know who B is. I'd take the consistency in player B.
So player B is Matt Ioannidis.
Okay.
I don't have it. I do have the stat line. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't have it to share with you all right now. But the stat line I did put out in an article. But he's probably went no more than. It was definitely no more than 2, but he's racked up at least 1 sack in the games where he's had a sack. Whereas Ryan Kerrigan, I mean, this year it doesn't really help him. But in years past where he racked up his 13 sacks or he's racked up his 12, it comes in bunches versus being consistently active and present throughout from a week-to-week basis.
And football is a game of the entire game can be won on one drive. Can be one stalled out drive because of a sack can win an entire game. I would much rather take 1 sack a game. Ryan Kerrigan getting 4 sacks against the Jaguars is great, but that just means we absolutely crushed the Jaguars, which doesn't really mean that much to me. Give me 1 sack a game.
Right, and I don't think we actually crushed them that game. I think we got a 4-point win.
Because they had
we put up 40 on
him. Papa as quarterback, is the other thing that came.
Yeah.
Kerrigan's another guy. He's kind of the all-American guy. He does everything right. He says the right things. He's well-liked. He's clean-cut. So everybody kind of likes him.
He's a PR.
He does nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, exactly. He does nothing wrong at all. Ioannidis, by the way, has 8.5 sacks this year, for the record.
But I think Jamal's point is
I'm just saying. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying this year he has 8.5 sacks, leading the team. But I mean, that's the reason why people like Kerrigan so much. Like Alex knows this. During the last game, I just out of bitter sarcasm or anything else, I criticized Kerrigan for his stupid sack dance. When he had the weird, half stop. Everybody just kind of stopped playing. Yeah, a whole bunch of people did. And it's like, geez, just relax. It's not that big a deal. It was just kind of a joke. But people get really sensitive when it comes to Ryan Kerrigan. For some
Yeah,
reason.
another one of those polarizing players, for all of these reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk really quickly about Bruce Allen, my favorite topic when we talk about the Redskins. Before we get into this game, which we do need to get to, seems like things are reaching kind of a fever pitch with old Brucey Boy. Am I right? And I believe, Alex, you had a poll about Brucey Boy this week, didn't you?
My poll was a poll I ran
okay.
myself, not on our normal Twitter. I just threw up a poll. Give me your best guess who will be Bruce's replacement if he's fired in the next few weeks. I got a lot of responses to it, thanks to our buddy Rick Snyder retweeting it. So I got about 400 replies.
So that's retweeting it from our own.
That sounds like us.
Nope, I did not. I did not because I think. At work, I lost access to our Twitter account.
Oh.
I had to reset a bunch of stuff on my computer, and I was just like, I don't remember what the password is right now.
It's kind of funny you had to rely on Rick to
I didn't rely on him. He just did it. But thanks, Rick. So anyway, that was the kind of question. Give me your guess who will replace him if he's fired. I gave 3 in-house guesses, Doug Williams, Kyle Smith, and Eric Schaefer. Figure most fans know who those people are. And I said, if it's an outside hire, post a guess. Got a lot of Louis Riddicks, a lot of those TV personality type names, Lombardi.
This is a
that kind of
really
stuff.
hard thing to answer because the Redskins have made every kind of strategic choice in this decision in the past imaginable. Veteran, new guy, yeah,
every kind of wrong.
This is a really
choice,
hard question, even though it seems like it should be simple. Sorry, go ahead, proceed.
Yeah,
I gave you my answer off the air, Alex. You know what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well, but if you guys want to give me your guesses, I'll tell. Or I could just tell you what people voted.
No, we got to guess. Yeah, this is
Okay.
not. I gave you. I'll go first. I already told you what my answer is. So my answer was that what I would do if I were in charge, what I would get an outsider. But what I think the Redskins would do, because Dan Snyder's Dan Snyder, and he tries to hang on to the past and to all that.
Sure.
Like nails on the side of a 100-foot cliff.
He doesn't know anybody. Doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that it's going to be Kyle Smith. I think Doug Williams is kind of sort of your lovable drunk uncle type person now. He's not who you're going to put in charge. And Eric Schaefer's not really a football guy. He's a lawyer. So I think Kyle Smith makes the most choice.
Yeah. To be fair, the last 2 GMs we've had have not been football guys.
Well, but they made Dan believe they are.
Right.
So
That is true.
Eric Schaefer.
why do we like the Kyle Smith choice? Out of curiosity, Steve, I'm curious as to your thoughts there.
Well, I read an article about him. Actually, there was an article on SI or whatever Rick works for now, which is SI. Maven or something like that. Now,
Yeah.
they did an article just today, about it and talking about his family history. His dad is AJ Smith, by the way. He was with the San Diego. He put those San Diego Chargers teams together in the '90s that were so good. That when Norv Turner was the coach there. AJ, apparently, according to the article, was a brilliant scout. Kyle was identified by Mike Shanahan as being a superstar in the early days when Kyle was like an intern or like a low-level scout here in D.C., and he's always been very well-respected, a great football man, comes from a great NFL
Long-time
family.
Washington Redskins scout concerns me, Steve, big time.
Yeah.
That is a concerning thing to think about. What?
No, he left for a while. And
That makes me feel a little bit better, but only a little bit.
The less time he was here, the better,
I do
right?
feel a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense, Steve. I guess, of the 3 options in-house that you gave, I think that probably does make the most sense just because Williams, I don't think, is a viable choice, and Schaefer's just like, I don't know. That's random.
Well, you want him doing what he's doing. You don't want him...
Exactly. So, but I think, dream choice would be outside hire, and I just don't care. Someone who is not someone who's proven to a degree, like a Tomlin, that they say may become available at the end of the season. That's what I want to see.
You want Mike
No,
Tomlin
but I said someone like a Tomlin.
someone like that?
Someone that is a sure talent.
Jamal?
You talking about GM? I would say it's tricky. And the reason why I say that is because, like, 2 weeks. Matter of fact, when Mark Bullock came on, I have mentioned, this internally, I don't see how anybody, even with the reputation that some people have as touted scouts and up and comers, internally, I don't see how anybody can stay. This whole regime has been terrible from 2010 up until now. You're about to lose 100 games over this time frame. Internally, externally, I haven't done no history, no. I can't give you a surefire guy, but what I will say for Dan's sake and for Redskins' sake, there is, for the love of God, do not go the route of former players trying to convert them into GMs. Do not do it.
Hell no, you're absolutely right.
The reason why I say that is because this trend of trying something different it's okay. It's thinking outside of the box. It's absolutely fine. But when you're an organization who can't even do NFLing correct,
even
you
the
can't
basics.
do that the right way.
Right.
You can't even do that right. Why the hell would you be the one to start trying to do outside of the box things?
Agreed.
You need to follow a mold. You need to get that together. And I feel like the way you can look at successful organizations, I wouldn't just go straight to the Patriots. You can go to the Patriots for one. You can go to Seattle. You can go to Green Bay. You can, look, Pittsburgh. You can Baltimore. Like, you can follow their mode. It's okay to copy what they do and learn from them and then go from there. Mm-hmm. And I would start with a consultant. Get Dan's opinion completely out of the way. That the consultant find out what is best for this organization and then go from there. Because if Dan has influence, he's not going to really go outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah, he's going to screw it up. I have two things to say about this. Number one, this came up principally because some genius over at Hogs Haven raised this question Wednesday. Whoever runs a Hogs Haven Twitter feed, I don't know if that's Ken Maringolo or somebody else, whoever it is, brought this up and said, hey, why don't we put, bring Alex Smith and D'Angelo Hall and Chris Cooley and put them in positions of power. And my response to them was that's a disaster. And
yes, it is.
100% right. That's just insanely stupid.
Well, now, to be fair, the Alex Smith thing didn't even originate with them. That originated with one of the beat reporters who said Dan's
but the idea
Alex
that
Smith
Jamal is talking about came from the Hogs Haven guy, which is just it's one thing, D'Angelo Hall's a smart guy. Bring him in to have some role in the team somewhere.
If he wants to become a scout, let him be a scout.
Or whatever, the player development guy maybe, I don't know. But and Alex Smith, smart guy, same thing. He could do something, but you don't put these people in charge. That's just idiotic. Here's what I would honestly do. Here's what I would do. Ozzie Newsome is retired out of Baltimore, right? You're probably not going to tempt him to come in and take over a team and start over again because he's in retirement. He doesn't want to ruin his legacy by coming to a total train wreck disaster after he just did so well in Baltimore. But what I would do is I would drive a Brinks truck up to his house and have him be that consultant that Jamal's talking about. Say, Ozzie, you tell me who needs to be the GM. That's what I would try to do with Ozzie Newsome.
I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Dan won't do it because Dan's dumb.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. But if he surprises me, thank God, I'll be 100% all in. But I doubt he does it.
You know why, Jamal? Why we know he's not? Because the reports are that he is already personally scouting coaches, and which just makes me want to pull my hair out.
Which, by the way, means he's going to do what he did 10 years ago. He's going to hire a coach before he hires a GM. Already has his quarterback that the coach won't want.
He's going to hire an offensive coordinator before he hires a coach or a GM.
Oh, he might do that too.
Pull a Jim Zorn.
Yeah. Well, and I've always agreed with the idea he needs to have smart people pick this guy. Like I've always said, build a committee of people Dan trusts. Doug Williams, Joe Gibbs, people who have NFL experience, and say, I need you guys to help me find my GM.
Honestly, I wouldn't do Gibbs because you got to have someone who's an outsider.
Yeah, that's true.
Ozzie Newsome is a perfect guy. He probably still lives in the area.
Right.
That's the guy. Ozzie. Remember this. You heard it here first. Ozzie Newsome needs to be.
All right. Well, let me tell you the public generally agreed with you guys that it's going to be an outside hire. They said 47% people kind of guessed outside hire.
I said it was going to be inside. That's my guess.
Of the inside guys that I had listed, Kyle Smith won 24% of the vote. Eric Schaefer, 17%, and Doug Williams only getting 12%, which is surprising because technically he would be next in line if you're going along the hierarchy. for finding a team
I
president
don't know
GM.
if I would agree with that.
Yeah. Tough to say. I think it's interesting, though, I will say, that at least all of us are... I like that we're kind of on the same page about this hire. Outside hire, someone dependable, not trying to reinvent the wheel here, go for something that's established.
Right.
I like that we're kind of all
Yes,
in
you
sync.
have
Yeah,
to
you
get out your
don't.
comfort
What
zone.
you don't. Yeah, what you don't do is you don't bring in Chris Cooley and D'Angelo Hall and put them in
Right.
charge
Yeah,
of a
dear
football
Lord.
team.
Right. It reminds me of something I learned in elementary school when I was first learning video production. My teacher said, I need to teach you guys the rules on how to make TV before you can ever understand how to break the rules and make art.
Well put. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then with that in mind, let's talk a little bit of Philly. It's not exactly the most exciting game to preview, knowing that it doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things anymore, but we could spoil them a bit, and we've got some opportunities, some tests to test some things out. So, how you guys feeling with the official elimination, going into Philly game?
Look, Philly is a mediocre team that has had mediocre, uneven performance all year. Okay?
What's their
and
record
they're
right
beaten up. Which
6 wins or something, right?
Philly is 6 and 7. Philly 6 and
Right.
7, and surprisingly enough, the 6 and 7 team has stats that are all over the place, which is exactly what you'd expect. The problem is we're a lousy team, and they're probably going to beat up on us. I don't think Philly matches up well with the Redskins. I don't think the Redskins match up well with Philly.
Yeah, that's a better way to say
right.
it.
Yeah, let
Other
me
way
say that.
around.
I
They got
said it
Carson
back. I
Wentz.
said it
Carson
stupid.
Wentz.
They have Carson Wentz, and they're better against the run. They're darn good against the run. There's only a handful of teams that have run a lot against Philly, okay? And it's not the Redskins. Hint, hint.
No, I think we got, 25, 26
that was
yards.
that was in the Jay Gruden era. But it's been
Yeah.
the Cowboys, the Seahawks, and the Vikings. Those are the teams that have run on Philly effectively. Nobody else has. Even the Giants with Saquon Barkley have not done that. So
Oh, they did nothing
yeah,
really last
they
week.
did
Yeah.
nothing. So I just don't think we match up well against them. Like Jamal said, they have Carson Wentz. They've got a bunch of big time pass rushers.
They've got Zach Ertz in the passing game,
Yeah,
which is about it.
Brandon
but,
Graham, in there. They've got what's
But
his name?
it flows through the tight end for them. It really does.
Yeah, on offense. But, Malcolm Jenkins. They've got all these guys. I just don't think it's a good matchup. I think we're probably going to get our butt kicked at home. Carson Wentz, and I'll shut up after this, but Carson Wentz has got the Philly fan base kind of mad at him, because he's not been that good this
Hold
year.
Hold on. The Philly fan base is mad.
No way. Say it isn't so. Yeah, they're a bunch
Next
of...
thing you're going to tell me they're burning jerseys to random players.
the mindless cretins that are subhuman morons that live in Philly and are Eagles fans are mad at Carson Wentz because he's not really lived up to his promise. However, he's still more than good enough to beat the crap out of the Redskins.
Yeah, by far.
Sure.
I believe that now the status we're dead last offense, right, Steve?
Oh, I'm going to get to you. Want me to go over that? The weekly reading of the
Yeah,
last stats?
hit us
Okay.
with it. Go ahead.
The funeral dirge, as we call it. Yes.
Yeah, this is like a funeral, like the roll call at a funeral. Okay, so we're last in the NFL in total points scored, total yards per game, passing yards, third down conversion rate. We are second to last in time of possession.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
So so all of that.
That's ugly.
But
Yeah,
we're
it's
number one in skin tangibles.
yeah, that's right.
Still
we're
have
always
the
number
skin
one.
Look,
We're always number one.
we know this to be true. This is why this is a hard game to preview. We don't match up well against anyone. Sitting at dead last in all of those critical categories means we just don't match up well with anyone, and it doesn't matter. And the only thing you can say is Philly's not been good on the road this year, I think, is one thing that you can say in our favor for this game. But that's not going to be enough. We're a weakened team. We're a team still trying to find itself.
This will be a home game for Philly, too.
Yeah,
Don't
might as
forget
well
that.
be.
Yeah, they're 2-4 on the road.
So that's something that you can say.
They're a mediocre team. They're not really all that great in anything. I'm just saying we're a bad team.
They're going to kill us.
When
Right.
mediocre plays bad, mediocre wins. And especially with the Eagles, who we've lost 5
And I
in a row.
guarantee you this game will be like the Packers game. It's going to be out of reach for most of the game. The stat might look a little closer than it ever really was, but that's all that it will be. It's probably it feels like it's shaping up to be the same thing. So, not much excitement. What else can we say about this game? Anything?
Jamal, you haven't chimed in.
I don't have much to say.
Got nothing.
The reason why though is, it's simple. since 2016 that was his rookie year. Carson Wentz he's dominated us. And when it comes to just this team in general, we struggle with mobile quarterbacks, but more importantly, we struggle with playmakers too. And Carson Wentz just has that knack, and he's on a streak where it's very difficult for us to really hold any type of offense that he's in charge of, hold it under control. And Doug Peterson does a good job schematically of dotting this up. The first game, the halftime, well, technically it didn't even start at halftime. It started before halftime. And I said I didn't have nothing to say, but clearly I lied. But
that's perfectly okay. We love hearing it.
The first game, you noticed it in I think like 5 minutes to go left in the second quarter, they saw something. But one of the first attempts they saw where they overthrew Deshaun Jackson, it didn't work out. But then they connected on the next two, and that was a problem. And then they was able to get the ground game going. I only say that to say, between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, these two are a good combination for the defense that we have. Now, we are a different defense from week one, but at the same time, it's not a lot has changed. And we just need to make sure we get the horses. I mean, we may surprise them. Who knows? But we don't have the horses, in my opinion, to really come away with a victory. I mean, we may challenge them better than seasons past and games past, but I don't think we have the horses right now.
Yeah, I mean, their numbers, like I said, are all mediocre. They're 16th in points, 17th in passing yards, or 20th in rushing yards per attempt. I mean, they're not that good, But again, it's just the history of this game says, Carson Wentz is going to go crazy on us. They're probably going to win. Now, just because we have to preview them, because this is our job. Here's their offense. Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard are a two-headed monster at running back, okay? They both get a ton of carries. They're both averaging almost 4.5 yards a carry.
Hasn't one of them been out for a while, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, Jordan Howard was out.
Okay.
But Sanders has played every game. Passing-wise, it's the Zach Ertz show. He's still he's almost leads the NFL in targets. Not quite. 119 targets. Then you got Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar. And to a lesser extent, the other tight end has also burned us in the past, Dallas Goedert. So those five guys, so what is that, six? That is the Philly offense is pretty diverse. We don't do well against Ertz at all. And,
never have.
And for context, Ertz has like 100 more yards or something than McLaurin does on the season. For context, to people wondering how much they use him, he's got more receiving yards than McLaurin. So I mean they spread it around. They've got multiple weapons of running back. That's going to be a problem. Steve, you want to hit us with the score prediction? Or I don't want to step on anyone. If you have any other thoughts about the game, throw it out there. But I just don't know how much you can really preview this game right now. I mean what?
What's the path to victory? I mean, the path to victory is you have to shut down Zach Ertz somehow. Not that we can do it, but he is the guy that makes everything go, Right. So you have to hope that one of these linebackers plus Landon Collins can do well enough to, he's only averaging 10.5 yards per reception. I mean, he does what a tight end does. He just does it very, very well. Sure. And so that's job number one, Zach Ertz. Can we do it? Probably not. No, because every tight end imaginable seems to destroy the Washington Redskins. But that's what you do. And on the ground, and on the offense, I mean, Dwayne Haskins has to have a good day. This is not going to be one of these games we can run all over them like we did to the Panthers. And last week, in last week's game, 200 and whatever.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
40 yards, whatever. This has got to be the game. We've been talking about Dwayne Haskins finally putting it together. If he's going to do it, it needs to be this week because they're going to have him play well because the running game is not going to be there. So that would be my preview.
And the one area where Philly has been in trouble is they've had a lot of injuries at corner over the year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's an interesting dichotomy here, okay, in the Philly offense because they're number 2 in time of possession. What does that tell you? They run the ball a lot, and they run it effectively. They're really good in the red zone, and they're outstanding on third down conversions. They're ranked 6th in both of those. So why haven't they scored more points? Doesn't that anybody wonder that? Well, the reason is they've had a ton of fumbles. They've had a ton of fumbles, almost more than they're second or third most in the NFL in fumbles. That is the reason they don't. It's not a lot of interceptions; it's fumbles. So I mean, you get a few turnovers. You keep them off the field. Dwayne puts it together. You stop Zach Ertz. It sounds like a lot because it is a lot, but that's what they need to do.
Well said. You want to give us your prediction then, my friend?
Okay, yeah. I mean, these games a lot of times don't go well.
You don't say.
And I don't think this one's going to go well. I don't think this one's going to go well either. I mean, we did play them tough in Philly in the week 1.
Right. Different team, though.
Yeah, I mean, we came back against, they came back against us. I'm going to say this is going to be 31-17.
Wow. High scoring.
Philly.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Good.
I got to disagree with you on the high scoring. I think Philly struggled versus the Giants offensively a little bit.
That's true. Overtime win.
And so, I'm going to kind of say this is a lower scoring affair for both teams. I'm guessing it's going to be more like 24-20 Philly type thing.
24-20.
You're probably right.
So I will go with I do think Philly gets in the 20s, but I'll probably go with like 23 to 13-ish. Again, like the Packers game, I think it'll be close in the first half, but Philly just pulls away again.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. I think it's going to be lower scoring, though. I'm going to say 14-9 Philly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm probably being overly pessimistic about the score, but I'm going to stick with I already made it. But
Why not?
That's fine.
But here's to end the show, though, we need to do one more prediction. When we do what's next week? It's Giants or is it Dallas next week?
Giants is next.
Giants.
Christmas
when we
week.
do the Giants preview, is Bruce Allen still employed with the Redskins?
Oh boy, what a question!
I'm gonna go bold, Cotton, and say no.
That's a crazy estimate, Alex. I don't know. You're pulling that one out of your butt, my friend. By the Giants preview, Steve.
Yeah, by next Wednesday when we record the Giants preview, will Bruce Allen be employed by the Washington Redskins?
Fingers so hard crossed on that one. I'm gonna say no.
Jamal?
Shoot, I'll just be different. I think he will. Yes.
Ugh.
You said will he be gone or will he still? You said will he still be a Redskin?
I said will he be employed by the Washington Redskins?
I think so. Okay. Fair enough. Man.
Yeah, my guess is yes. I think he will. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's gone, but I think my guess is yes.
So
too.
2 no's, 2 yeses.
We'll see.
All right.
So we're going to be right either way.
There we go. Bases covered once again. We will leave it at that this week, but keep checking back. Hogsty.com, BigHeadsMedia.com for the latest and greatest. We will see you guys on the show next time, right here on the Hogsty. Take care. Cool.
All right.
Are you a purple and orange bleeding, Maryland flag boasting Baltimore sports fan looking for a podcast that delivers an hour of content every week?
Then you need to subscribe to Charm City Birdwatch, presented by the Big Heads Media Podcast Network.
You'll hear insight on the Ravens, Orioles, and Terps from Jake McDonald, Nolan McGraw, and myself, Ian Schultz.
With takes coming from both fans and young names in the Baltimore sports media conglomerate, Charm City Birdwatch is the perfect place to catch up on Baltimore sports talk. Subscribe today.